Working without announcement, the quiet path to achievement. My friends, observe the people around you. Notice those who constantly, loudly, and incessantly talk about their lofty goals, their meticulously laid plans, and their grand, sprawling dreams. Now turn your gaze to those who are quietly, persistently, making undeniable progress every single day, without fanfare, without proclamation. Which group, I ask you, unequivocally achieves more? The answer, my friends, reveals a powerful, often overlooked truth about the very nature of success. Attention and achievement frequently move in diametrically opposite directions. When you relentlessly seek attention for your efforts before you have painstakingly completed them, you inadvertently create three insidious problems. First, you squander invaluable energy on mere appearances, energy that should be wholeheartedly directed towards tangible progress. Second, you prematurely invite judgment and corrosive criticism when your nascent idea is still fragile, still forming. Third, and most perilously, you bestow upon yourself a false, fleeting sense of accomplishment, derived solely from the superficial recognition of merely starting. Your brain, in its intricate workings, receives immediate social rewards from merely talking about your goals, rewards that can astonishingly reduce your profound motivation to painstakingly achieve them. Truly successful achievers, those who leave an indelible mark upon the world, understand this insidious trap with profound clarity, and they choose instead to focus their unwavering energy on progress, not on ephemeral publicity. Practice the profound art of silent achievement by diligently maintaining a private progress journal rather than incessantly posting public updates. Establish specific, undeniable completion points before you even consider sharing your arduous journey with the world. Find one trusted accountability partner rather than loudly proclaiming your goals to everyone you encounter. When asked about your current endeavors, master the exquisite art of the interesting yet deliberately vague answer, one that gracefully satisfies curiosity without revealing intricate details. Channel that inherent desire for recognition into more productive, purposeful work, knowing deep in your soul that undeniable results will inevitably bring far more meaningful attention than any premature announcement ever could. Rebecca Chen, an athletic prodigy, stunned the entire sports world by setting a new unprecedented record when no one even knew she was competing at such an extraordinary level. While her outspoken competitors meticulously documented every grueling training session publicly, she, with unwavering resolve, worked quietly, diligently with a single coach in complete, profound privacy. Her competitors ceaselessly posted daily updates about their progress, received a constant stream of external feedback, and in doing so became minor celebrities long before the race itself. This public validation, this fleeting sense of accomplishment, inadvertently created a false satisfaction that cunningly made the painful, arduous parts of training seem less necessary. When questioned about her profoundly silent approach, she simply yet powerfully stated, "Applause feels better when you've earned it through undeniable results, not merely through fleeting intentions." What cherished goal are you currently talking about more than you are diligently working towards? How might your profound progress be dramatically altered if you consciously redirected that wasted energy from endlessly discussing your plans to meticulously executing them in profound silence? Consider this, my friends. The fleeting attention you receive for what you intend to do feels good temporarily, yes, but the profound, lasting attention you receive for what you have already undeniably accomplished builds an unshakable, enduring confidence. The world, my friends, is tragically full of individuals who loudly announce journeys they never ever complete. Will you choose to be someone who merely talks about achievement, or someone who quietly, diligently, and with unwavering resolve creates it? Finding power in difficulty, the silent response to adversity. When confronted with hardship, my friends, keenly observe how the vast majority of people respond. Complaints, incessant explanations, endless excuses. Now turn your gaze to the truly successful, the masters of their own destiny. They often meet difficulty with a striking, resolute silence. not because they possess nothing to articulate, but because they are wisely conserving their invaluable energy for solution. Talking incessantly about problems, my friends, multiplies their insidious power over you. Every single time you eloquently explain why something is difficult, why you cannot possibly move forward, or why you are utterly justified in feeling frustrated, you, in essence, strengthen the problem's suffocating grip on your mind. You inadvertently convince yourself of self-imposed limitations. You mistakenly focus on insurmountable obstacles instead of boundless opportunities. Silence during difficulty, my friends, is not passive denial. It is profoundly strategic focus. It meticulously contains your precious energy and purposefully directs it towards innovative solutions rather than wasted explanations. When confronted with formidable challenges, allow yourself a brief private period to acknowledge your frustration. Then, with unwavering resolve, decisively close that door. Establish a personal, ironclad rule. If you must speak about a problem, you must simultaneously propose a viable solution. Practice responding to difficulty with insightful questions rather than declarative statements. Ask yourself, what profound lessons can I glean from this situation? Instead of wallowing in self-pity and asking, why is this happening to me? When others inevitably invite you to join their chorus of complaints, politely yet firmly redirect the conversation towards potential proactive action. Samuel Crawford, a testament to unwavering resolve, dramatically demonstrated this principle when a catastrophic tunnel collapse tragically trapped his team underground. While others succumbed to panic and frantically blamed faulty equipment, Crawford remained noticeably profoundly silent. Instead of engaging in endless discussions about what had tragically gone wrong, he meticulously began testing potential escape routes. When questioned about the cause of the disaster, he simply yet powerfully stated, "That conversation helps no one right now." His unwavering focus, his profound composure instilled a sense of calm that miraculously spread throughout the terrified group. After their miraculous escape, he profoundly explained, "Words of worry waste breath, and underground breath is precious." The same principle applies in any crisis. When you last faced a significant setback, my friends, how much invaluable energy did you expend explaining it rather than resolutely overcoming it? What current challenge might profoundly benefit from less discussion and more quiet, decisive action? Remember that talking incessantly about problems often provides temporary emotional relief, but it does not in any tangible way actually improve your situation. Most people, sadly, use words as an insidious escape from difficulty. The truly successful, however, use profound silence as a powerful path through it. The next time trouble inevitably arrives, will you add your voice to the pervasive chorus of complaint, or will you, with unwavering conviction, find your immense strength in strategic, profound silence? Learning without defensiveness. The path to unrestricted growth. My friends, reflect on your immediate reaction when someone with candid honesty points out a mistake you have made or offers a suggestion for improvement. Most individuals instinctively immediately defend, explain, or even counter-criticize, but keenly observe those who exhibit the most rapid, most profound growth. They often respond first with profound silence, listening fully, completely before uttering a single word. Defensive reactions, my friends, are powerful, impenetrable barriers that tragically block your most vital opportunities for growth. When your initial instinctive response to feedback is a swift, automatic justification, you inadvertently miss the invaluable information, the hidden truths concealed within the criticism. Your mind becomes perpetually preoccupied with vehemently defending your current position rather than thoughtfully considering how you might profoundly improve it. Even when feedback appears to be partially incorrect, it almost invariably contains some profound, useful truth. Silent receptivity, my friends, does not imply that you agree with every word. No, it simply signifies that you possess the formidable strength, the profound intellectual fortitude to consider anything. And Victoria Ellis, a remarkable athlete, completely transformed her career by adopting this very approach. After suffering a crushing defeat in an important match, tenacious reporters watched, Spellbound as her coach delivered a scathing critique of her technique. Rather than offering the expected defensive, emotional response, Ellis remained completely, utterly silent, nodding occasionally and meticulously taking notes. Other players, in similar situations, would typically argue or eloquently explain away such feedback. 3 months later, Ellis, with subtle yet profoundly significant changes to her playing style, returned to the arena. When she triumphantly won the championship, she unhesitatingly credited that difficult yet transformative conversation. "If I had been busy defending my old approach," she profoundly stated, "I never would have fully understood the new one. Silence gave me the invaluable room to grow." When was the last time, my friends, you received constructive criticism and your very first reaction was to immediately explain or vehemently defend yourself? What profound improvements might you serendipitously discover if you approached feedback with a curious, receptive silence rather than immediate, automatic justification? Consider this, my friends, that defensiveness may feel momentarily gratifying, but it profoundly prevents growth in the long run. Most individuals fiercely defend their current position. The truly successful, however, choose to defend their future potential instead. The next time someone offers you challenging, difficult feedback, will you choose the temporary comfort of defense or the lasting, transformative benefit of silent, profound growth? Choosing your own path, the sanctuary of inner wisdom. Observe, if you will, how swiftly and effortlessly people offer their opinions, unsolicited advice about what you should do with your life, your career, your relationship. Everyone, it seems, possesses an abundance of advice to dispense, but the most profoundly successful individuals, those who truly carve their own destiny, make their most pivotal decisions in a sanctuary of protective silence, far away from these external voices. Other people's opinions, my friends, originate from their maps, not yours. When you make truly important choices while perpetually surrounded by a cacophony of noise, whether it emanates from well-meaning friends, demanding family, or the relentless expectations of society, you run the profound risk of inadvertently living someone else's version of success. External voices, relentless and pervasive, tragically drown out your invaluable internal wisdom. Even the most well-intentioned advice invariably reflects others' values, their fears, and their unique experiences, which may not in any way align with your own unique situation. The most authentic, most profound decisions emerge from the sacred sanctuary of silence, where you can clearly, unequivocally hear your own truth. Create this decision-making silence by temporarily, consciously stepping back from all sources of external influence before embarking on any major choice. Resolutely avoid soliciting opinions until you have meticulously clarified your own thinking, your own profound insight. Take a solitary walk, allowing your thoughts to coalesce undisturbed. Document your thoughts privately, diligently, before sharing them with anyone. Ask yourself this pivotal question: if nobody would ever know about this decision, what unequivocally would I choose? This profound question, my friends, cuts through the debilitating concern about mere appearances and reconnects you instantly with your authentic desires, your deepest truth. Marcus Wilson, a remarkable athlete, stunned his ardent fans by courageously declining a record-breaking contract with a championship team, choosing instead to play for less money with an underdog team. For 2 weeks after receiving both lucrative offers, he completely vanished from public view, speaking to no one save his devoted wife. Sports writers, frantic with speculation, filled endless columns with their theories and unsolicited advice. When he finally announced his decision, reporters demanded immediate explanations. He responded simply, yet profoundly, "I made this choice in silence, and that silence showed me what matters most to me. I can't expect you to understand a journey you weren't part of." His unconventional, profoundly personal choice ultimately led to groundbreaking innovations in playing style that in time defined his legendary career. What truly important decision are you currently facing, my friend? How might your profound thinking dramatically change if you meticulously created a sanctuary of silence around this pivotal choice? Remember that external voices are at their loudest precisely when decisions matter most. precisely when you desperately need to hear yourself with undeniable clarity. Most individuals make life's biggest choices while perpetually surrounded by the greatest noise. The truly successful, however, consciously create quiet spaces where authentic wisdom can emerge, unburdened by external pressures. Will you permit others' opinions to dictate your invaluable path, or will you with unwavering courage find the profound silence to hear your own unwavering truth, finding meaning beyond recognition? The power of silent purpose. Look, my friends, at the profound difference between those who constantly, loudly, and incessantly talk about making a difference and those who are quietly, diligently creating tangible change every single day. One group relentlessly seeks recognition for their noble intentions. The other, however, seeks undeniable impact through their unwavering actions. This profound distinction, my friends, reveals much about the true essence of purpose. Loudly announcing good intentions often serves as a hollow substitute for actually doing good work. When you publicly declare your fervent desire to help others, to catalyze profound change, or to make a lasting difference, you receive immediate, albeit fleeting, social reward. This, my friends, creates a dangerous illusion: the comfortable feeling of being purposeful without the arduous, painstaking effort of actually creating tangible impact. True purpose, my friends, does not demand constant external validation. It finds its profound satisfaction in the intrinsic value of the work itself and the undeniable results it meticulously creates, whether acknowledged or not. Develop silent purpose by meticulously focusing on quantifiable results rather than fleeting recognition. Ask yourself, profoundly, would I diligently perform this work if no one ever knew it was me? Practice the profound art of finding satisfaction in the inherent impact itself, not in the credit you receive for it. Look for myriad opportunities to contribute anonymously without fanfare. When you accomplish something truly helpful, resolutely resist the urge to ensure others are meticulously aware of your pivotal role. Cultivate relationships with individuals who genuinely value profound substance over mere appearance, who inquire about what you have unequivocally accomplished rather than how you merely appear. What purposes in your life, my friends, are driven more by how they superficially look than by the profound difference they truly make? How might your invaluable impact dramatically grow if you cared less about being seen as purposeful and more about creating actual tangible change? Remember that the most meaningful, most impactful work often happens in the profound silent spaces where no one is watching and no one is applauding. Many individuals sadly perform goodness. The truly successful, however, profoundly embody it, whether seen or unseen. Will you choose a purpose that merely feeds your ego, your fragile image, or will you choose one that thrives in profound silence while undeniably changing the world around you? Protecting your energy, the power of silent boundaries. Have you observed, my friends, how the most accomplished individuals, those who achieve extraordinary feats, appear remarkably selective about their commitment, while others in their eagerness say an indiscriminate yes to every single request? Truly successful individuals often respond with purposeful, profound silence. They understand with absolute clarity that every single yes to something unimportant is, in essence, a silent, resounding no to something truly vital. Your energy, my friends, is your most precious, most finite resource. Yet most individuals squander it carelessly, thoughtlessly. Each time you agree to a project that does not align with your core goals, each time you attend an event solely out of obligation, or each time you engage with individuals who subtly yet profoundly drain your spirit, you are, in essence, spending irreplaceable energy. The incessant noise of endless commitments drowns out the vital signal of what truly unequivocally matters. Without clear, meticulously protected boundaries, diligently enforced by deliberate, purposeful silence, your most important, most impactful work tragically remains undone, while your calendar, a testament to misdirection, fills with everyone else's priority. Creating silent, impregnable boundaries begins with a conscious pause before you utter a single commitment. When asked to undertake something, replace your automatic yes with a thoughtful, "let me check and get back to you." During this crucial pause, ask yourself these three profound questions. Does this truly align with my current unwavering priorities? Is this something that only I can do? Will I still feel profoundly good about this commitment next week? or even next month. Practice the art of saying a firm, unequivocal no directly, yet kindly, without lengthy, unnecessary explanations that only invite tedious debate. Remember that unclear boundaries demand constant, exhausting maintenance, while clear, well-defined ones meticulously enforce themselves. Robert Jameson, a visionary filmmaker, underwent a profound career transformation. After several immensely successful, yet creatively exhausting projects left him utterly empty, he completely vanished from the industry for 3 months. Upon his highly anticipated return, he instituted what his bewildered colleagues aptly termed his silent wall. He steadfastly ceased answering calls directly, resolutely refused to attend industry functions, and declined seemingly prestigious opportunities without offering a single explanation. Critics, in their ignorance, labeled him difficult and ungrateful. When finally asked about this unusual behavior, he profoundly explained, "I realized I was saying yes to everything except what mattered most, creating meaningful films. My silence isn't rejection, it's the sacred protection of the energy needed for my best work." Where, my friends, in your own invaluable life, are you currently saying yes, when profound silence would far better serve your true, unwavering priority? How many of your current commitments, if presented to you today, would you genuinely, wholeheartedly accept? Notice how your elaborate explanations for your boundaries often paradoxically devolve into tiresome negotiations that in essence weaken those very boundaries. Most individuals, sadly, build their lives by perpetually responding to the loudest, most insistent demands. The truly successful, however, respond only to that which is most genuinely important. Will you continue to allow the clamorous noise of others' expectations to drown out the quiet, profound voice of your own purpose? Or will you, with unwavering conviction, utilize silence to meticulously create the sacred boundaries your best work unequivocally demand? The formidable strength of your boundaries ultimately determines the profound quality of your work, and indeed, your entire life. Each time you silently decline what does not unequivocally serve your profound purpose, you create invaluable space for what truly does. This, my friends, is not selfishness. It is the profound stewardship of your finite energy for your highest, most impactful contribution. The world, I assure you, does not need more exhausted individuals saying yes to everything. It desperately needs focused individuals who diligently protect their invaluable capacity to do what matters most. Your unwavering ability to maintain profound silence in the face of relentless demands may at first feel uncomfortable, but this discomfort, my friends, is merely the growing pain of reclaiming your immense power. Let your profound silence speak the undeniable truth that your time is a sacred resource, to be guarded fiercely and invested widely. Leading without dominating. The quiet presence of influence. Observe, my friends, the profound difference in leaders in any setting. The ones who truly command genuine respect often speak far less than you would ever expect. While others frantically fight for airtime and attention, these quiet forces of nature create unparalleled impact through their attentive presence rather than through an endless torrent of words. Dominating conversations, my friends, paradoxically diminishes your leadership influence. When you talk excessively in meetings, when you interrupt others' nascent ideas, or when you feel an irresistible compulsion to always have the final word, you inadvertently send a powerful yet damaging message. Your voice matters more than everyone else's. This, my friends, creates superficial compliance, but it tragically kills genuine commitment and heartfelt dedication. People may reluctantly follow your directions, but they will invariably withhold their best thinking and their most dedicated effort. True leadership influence grows not from speaking more, but from meticulously creating sacred space where others can contribute their absolute best thinking. Enter conversations with insightful questions rather than definitive statements. When someone shares a brilliant idea, respond first with genuine curiosity instead of immediate evaluation. Silently count to 3 before you utter a word to prevent inadvertently interrupting others. Make direct, unwavering eye contact with quieter team members and explicitly invite their invaluable input. Meticulously record how much you speak in meetings compared to others, and gradually, consciously, reduce your talking time while simultaneously increasing the profound quality of your listening. Patricia Winters, a visionary executive, miraculously revolutionized her struggling company by implementing this exact approach. Previously renowned for dominating every single discussion with her immense expertise, she astonished her team by opening a critical strategy meeting with a simple question, then remaining profoundly silent for nearly the entire session. When perplexed team members looked to her for immediate answers, she simply, yet powerfully asked, "What do you think?" The uncomfortable silence, though initially unsettling, eventually gave way to a flood of innovative ideas from individuals who had never before dared to speak up. One brilliant suggestion, originating from a typically quiet engineer, led directly to their most profitable product line. Later, she profoundly explained, "I realized my expertise was actually our biggest liability. It was preventing others from sharing theirs. My silence created the invaluable space for solutions I could never, in my wildest dreams, have provided." How might your own profound expertise sometimes, inadvertently, become a barrier to even better solutions? What transformative impact might occur if you deliberately spoke less in your next 3 meetings? Notice how profoundly difficult it feels to resist filling silence. This discomfort reveals how deeply we as a society instinctively equate leadership with incessant talking. Most individuals lead through forceful assertion. The truly successful, however, lead through profound attention. Will you continue seeking influence through sheer dominance, or will you, with unwavering conviction, discover the far greater power of your silent, attentive presence? Remember that silence in leadership is not about being passive or uninvolved. It is an active, purposeful choice to meticulously create space where others can think, contribute, and grow. The most powerful statement you can ever make as a leader is to unequivocally show that you value others' thinking enough to be profoundly quiet and truly deeply hear it. This silent confidence profoundly demonstrates that you are secure enough in your own inherent value to shine a brilliant light on others rather than constantly seeking to illuminate only yourself. Paradoxically, the less you utilize your authority to dominate conversations, the more your actual profound influence relentlessly grows. Your silence does not in any way reduce your impact. It multiplies it exponentially through the collective wisdom and unwavering commitment of everyone around you. Notice those who loudly, incessantly announce their new habits, their revolutionary diets, or their grueling workout plans. Now turn your gaze to those who quietly, diligently transform their lives without fanfare, without proclamation. The undeniable pattern, my friends, becomes crystal clear. Those who talk most about their discipline often exhibit the least of it in practice. Public commitment, I assure you, creates an insidious illusion of progress, an illusion that can tragically sabotage actual tangible achievement. When you prematurely announce your intentions to change, you receive immediate social recognition and a fleeting sense of support. This, my friends, creates a dangerous, premature sense of accomplishment that can, astonishingly, reduce your profound motivation to undertake the actual, arduous work. Your brain experiences the reward before it has painstakingly earned it. Additionally, early public commitment invites unwelcome, unrequested advice and corrosive criticism precisely when you are still developing fragile new habits. The most profoundly effective discipline often flourishes in quiet, private spaces, where intrinsic motivation can grow unhindered by external pressure. Initiate new habits with a personal, unwavering 30-day trial period before even mentioning them to anyone. Find profound satisfaction in the actual, undeniable results of your painstaking discipline rather than in external recognition for it. When you finally reach meaningful milestones, share the concrete achievement rather than the mere intention. Surround yourself with individuals who genuinely value consistent action over enthusiastic, yet ultimately empty declaration. Remember that true discipline is not about fleeting intensity. It is profoundly about unwavering consistency, which thrives in steady, unnoticed moments. What transformative changes are you currently talking about more than you are diligently implementing? How might your profound progress dramatically improve if you consciously redirected the energy from endlessly discussing your plans to meticulously executing them in profound silence? Notice how public accountability sometimes, paradoxically, devolves into a mere public performance that tragically drains the private determination essential for real, lasting change. Most individuals relentlessly seek recognition for their discipline. The truly successful, however, seek undeniable results from it. Will you continue announcing intentions and receiving premature, fleeting praise? Or will you, with unwavering conviction, embrace the quiet, transformative power of change without announcement? The paradox of true discipline, my friends, is that it rarely appears impressive in its daily, painstaking practice. It consists of seemingly small, consistent actions that in isolation appear utterly insignificant, but in combination become profoundly transformative. This quiet, unwavering consistency rarely makes for exciting, dramatic stories. The world, I assure you, celebrates dramatic, visible transformations, but it rarely witnesses the silent, unglamorous work that meticulously creates them. By steadfastly keeping your discipline private, you protect it from becoming a mere performance that serves your image rather than your profound goals. Your results inevitably will speak for you. They will tell a far more compelling, far more profound story than your mere intentions ever could. The most powerful discipline, my friends, is not what you incessantly talk about doing. It is what you quietly, diligently, and with unwavering resolve do every single day when no one, absolutely no one, is watching. Changing without resistance. The silent adaptability. Observe, my friends, how some individuals loudly, vehemently resist every change that presents itself, while others quietly, seamlessly adapt and profoundly thrive. When markets shift, technologies evolve, or circumstances change unexpectedly, most people respond with vocal complaints, with endless explanation. But the most profoundly successful individuals meet change with a striking, resolute silence, not because they do not feel the inherent disruption, but because they are already diligently adapting to it. Talking incessantly about change, my friends, consumes invaluable energy that is far better utilized for adapting to it. When you verbalize your ingrained resistance through endless complaints, elaborate explanations, or harsh criticism of new circumstances, you inadvertently reinforce your own stubborn attachment to the way things were. Each expression of frustration deepens your emotional investment in the past and tragically delays your crucial adjustment to the present reality. This incessant talking, my friends, creates an illusion of action while actually preventing the mental flexibility, the profound adaptability needed for true transformation. Grant yourself a few hours of private processing time before even considering discussing it with others. During this crucial period, ask yourself this profound question. Given that this change has happened, what boundless opportunities might it serendipitously create? Maintain a private journal of your change responses rather than publicly venting your frustration. When others inevitably invite you to join their chorus of complaints about change, listen respectfully, but politely, yet firmly. Redirect the conversation towards constructive, proactive responses. Remember that adaptation happens fastest in minds that are not perpetually preoccupied with defending the status quo. Margaret Coleman, a visionary leader, dramatically demonstrated this profound approach during a period of unprecedented industry upheaval. When new regulations severely threatened traditional business models, her competitors held frantic press conferences, vehemently criticizing the changes and lobbying aggressively against them. Coleman, however, remained noticeably, profoundly silent during this tumultuous period. While others valiantly fought the inevitable, she quietly, diligently restructured her company to strategically leverage the new reality. When tenacious reporters finally questioned her conspicuous silence regarding the controversial changes, she profoundly replied, "The energy others spent discussing whether the rain should fall, we spent building better umbrellas." Change doesn't ask permission or respond to criticism. Her company emerged from the transition period with record-breaking growth, while her vocal competitors struggled desperately to make delayed, ineffective adjustments. What change are you currently resisting more than diligently adapting to? How might your position dramatically improve if you consciously redirected your energy from unproductive complaint to creative, proactive response? Notice how incessantly discussing your frustration often feels productive, while actually keeping you tragically stuck in. Most individuals talk about change. The truly successful, however, silently create unparalleled opportunity from it. Will you expend your limited, invaluable energy expressing futile resistance to what is already undeniably happening, or will you silently, meticulously build something new based on what is? Remember that silent adaptability is not passive acceptance of everything that occurs. It is strategic focus on profound response rather than impulsive reaction. The most adaptable individuals experience the same initial resistance as everyone else. They simply process it privately rather than amplifying it publicly. This profound silence creates invaluable mental space where creative solutions can emerge, unburdened by the clamorous noise of complaint. While others are still eloquently explaining why change shouldn't happen, the silently adaptable are already diligently discovering how to profoundly thrive within it. Your unwavering ability to meet disruption with purposeful quiet may feel unsatisfying compared to the temporary relief of vocal resistance, but it grants you the ultimate, undeniable advantage, being first to the future while others remain anchored to the past, continuing when others quit. The unyielding power of silent persistence. Look, my friends, at anyone who has achieved something truly difficult, something seemingly impossible. Behind their visible success lies a calm and profound, while others ceaselessly talked about challenges, offered endless excuses, or loudly announced their surrender. These unwavering achievers pressed relentlessly forward with quiet, unyielding determination, often uttering not a single word about their struggles. Talking incessantly about difficulties, my friends, often becomes an acceptable, yet insidious substitute for actually overcoming them. When confronted with daunting obstacles, most individuals instinctively seek comfort through explaining their challenges to others. This conversation provides temporary emotional relief and social understanding, which can paradoxically reduce your profound drive to push through barriers. Each time you discuss why something is inherently hard or why you might need to tragically give up, you in essence normalize stopping and meticulously build a case for surrender. The most persistent individuals, however, wisely conserve this invaluable energy for the work itself. Cultivate silent persistence by meticulously creating private challenges rather than public ones. When faced with formidable obstacles, ask yourself, what is the smallest, most immediate next step I can possibly take? Then direct your entire being, your unwavering focus solely on that step. Develop a personal, ironclad rule against loudly announcing potential failure before it even occurs. Find one trusted advisor for necessary cathartic venting rather than spreading discouragement among men. When tempted to eloquently explain why you might quit, redirect that wasted energy into trying just once more. Remember that persistence is not about never feeling like giving up. It is about continuing anyway, without needing to loudly announce your struggle. William Harrison, a brilliant architect, embodied this profound principle during the tumultuous construction of his revolutionary design when unexpected structural problems emerged. Contractors publicly declared the design impossible, and financial backers began ominously withdrawing their support. Relentless reporters contacted Harrison daily, relentlessly pressing him for statements about the apparent failure. Through months of excruciating crisis, he offered only one unwavering response: we're working on solutions behind the scenes. He faced repeated setbacks that would have amply justified abandoning the entire project. His dedicated team marveled not just at his unwavering refusal to quit, but at his complete profound silence about the overwhelming difficulty. When the completed building later garnered international awards, a curious journalist asked how he maintained such unshakable faith during the public crisis. Harrison profoundly replied, "Speaking about the immense weight I was carrying would have only made it heavier. Words of doubt consume energy needed for progress. What challenge are you currently explaining more than diligently addressing? How might your persistence profoundly improve if you cease discussing how difficult your path is. Notice how incessantly talking about obstacles often makes them feel larger rather than smaller. Most individuals seek understanding for their struggles. The truly successful, however, seek unequivocal victory over them. Will you continue utilizing your invaluable energy to explain why your path is so arduous? Or will you silently, diligently redirect that energy to moving relentlessly forward, despite the profound difficulty? The power of silent persistence stems from its unwavering focus on action over elaborate explanation. When you cease talking about how hard the journey truly is, you liberate yourself from the insidious need to justify potential failure before it even occurs. This profound silence is not about denying reality. It is about resolutely refusing to amplify challenges through incessant verbalization. The most persistent individuals experience the same doubts, frustrations, and urges to quit as everyone else. The profound difference lies not in what they feel, but in what they do with these feelings. Rather than processing them externally through constant discussion, they channel them internally, transforming them into fuel for continued unwavering effort. Your unwavering ability to keep moving forward without loudly announcing your struggles may at times feel isolating, but it grants you an essential, undeniable advantage. While others are still eloquently explaining why they might stop, you have already taken the next crucial step forward, focusing diligently on work, not on fleeting credit. Focusing on work, not credit. The essence of silent excellence. Notice, my friends, the profound difference between those who constantly ensure others are meticulously aware of their every contribution and those who simply focus on making their work truly extraordinary. One group relentlessly chases recognition. The other, however, relentlessly chases excellence. The contrast, I assure you, reveals much about the very nature of lasting success. Seeking credit, my friends, paradoxically diminishes the inherent quality of your work. When you are perpetually consumed with ensuring proper recognition, your invaluable focus splits between the work itself and how it will be perceived by others. This divided attention prevents the total immersion, the profound flow state that creates truly exceptional results. Additionally, organizations and communities naturally, instinctively recognize those who prioritize profound contribution over fleeting credit, and they tend to withhold opportunities from those who appear more concerned with personal recognition than collective outcome. Cultivate silent excellence by meticulously measuring yourself against your own personal unwavering standards rather than perpetually seeking external validation. Practice contributing to projects without demanding a signature or special mention. When diligently working in teams, celebrate others' achievements far more visibly than your own. If recognition is inadvertently missed, ask yourself, profoundly, whether the work itself was still worth doing. If not, perhaps it is time to reconsider your core motivation. Remember that the undeniable quality of your contribution speaks far more eloquently about your inherent value than any amount of self-promotion ever could. Elizabeth Mitchell, a groundbreaking scientist, demonstrated this profound approach throughout her illustrious career. While her colleagues maneuvered for prominent authorship positions and press mentions, she consistently, unwaveringly focused solely on the research itself. Junior team members were often surprised when she added their names to prestigious papers while subtly downplaying her own critical contribution. When a significant discovery from her lab received international attention, journalists were utterly confused to find Mitchell quietly, diligently working on her next project, rather than eagerly giving interviews about the monumental achievement. When finally asked about this consistent pattern, she profoundly explained, "I discovered early that I couldn't simultaneously chase quality and credit. Every moment spent ensuring proper recognition was a moment not spent advancing the work. I chose the work and found that recognition eventually follows excellence much more reliably than excellence follows recognition." What areas of your life, my friends, demonstrate a divided focus between meticulously creating quality and diligently ensuring you receive credit? How might your work profoundly improve if you channeled recognition-seeking energy back into excellence itself? Notice how concern about proper acknowledgement often feels justified, while actually preventing your highest, most impactful contribution. Most individuals pursue recognition, desperately hoping it will confirm their excellence. The truly successful, however, relentlessly pursue excellence, and let recognition follow naturally? Will you continue splitting your invaluable focus between the quality of your work and the recognition it receives? Or will you, with unwavering conviction, discover the profound freedom of excellence for its own inherence? The paradox of silent excellence, my friends, is that it ultimately generates far more meaningful recognition than directly pursuing credit ever could. When you focus solely on making your contribution as valuable as humanly possible, without the slightest concern for who knows about your pivotal role, you create work that simply cannot be ignored. This silent, unwavering dedication to quality over credit is not about devaluing yourself. It is about profoundly understanding that true value does not require constant, clamorous announcement. The most respected individuals in any field are not those who vociferously ensure everyone knows about their contribution. They are those whose contributions speak so clearly, so powerfully, that everyone already knows. Your unwavering willingness to let your work speak for itself, rather than constantly speaking about your work, demonstrates a profound confidence that naturally draws others toward both your invaluable contribution and eventually undeniable recognition of the magnificent contribution. Building what lasts? The power of silent patience. Observe, my friends, the profound difference between those who relentlessly seek quick, immediate results and those who are meticulously building something enduring, something truly lasting. While most individuals frantically chase immediate outcomes and highly visible progress, the truly successful often work with a striking, profound patience, measuring their unwavering efforts not in fleeting days or transient months, but in enduring years or even decades. Impatience, my friends, inevitably forces shortcuts that fundamentally undermine lasting success. When you desperately need immediate results, whether for fleeting emotional satisfaction or external validation, you make decisions focused solely on short-term outcomes, rather than on profound long-term value. This frantic rush creates an insidious illusion of progress while actually extending the total time needed for truly meaningful achievement. The paradox of success, my friends, is that slower, more methodical approaches often, ironically, reach the destination far faster than frantic attempts at acceleration. For truly important projects, ask yourself, how would my entire approach profoundly change if I were thinking 5 years ahead instead of merely 5 months? Create meaningful milestones that celebrate genuine progress rather than depending entirely on final outcomes for your satisfaction. Practice the profound discipline of removing unnecessary steps rather than frantically rushing necessary ones. When confronted with inevitable setbacks, view them within your extended time frame rather than as immediate, debilitating emergency. Remember that patience, my friends, is not passive waiting. It is active, deliberate building, imbued with profound respect for the necessary passage of time. Richard Thompson, a visionary publisher, demonstrated this when launching a new literary magazine. While his competitors frantically rushed to market with flashy yet superficial publications, Thompson spent nearly 2 painstaking years diligently developing relationships with talented writers, meticulously refining editorial standards, and tirelessly building sustainable systems before releasing the very first issue. Investors, restless and impatient, grew increasingly agitated, questioning the lengthy preparation time when other magazines were already seemingly generating revenue. When finally launched, Thompson's publication immediately established itself as an undeniable literary benchmark, while the rushed competitors had already begun to tragically fold. When questioned about his conspicuous patience, Thompson profoundly explained, "They were building magazine. We were building an institution. The timeline must precisely match the ambition. What needs to exist for decades cannot be rushed into existence in mere months." What important work are you currently rushing, my friends, that might profoundly benefit from more methodical, deliberate development? How might your approach dramatically change if you courageously extended your timeline for truly important goals? Notice how the pervasive pressure for quick results often leads to superficial solutions that do not in fact actually save time, but merely create an appearance of progress. Most individuals, sadly, sacrifice quality for fleeting speed. The truly successful, however, understand when speed must be unequivocally sacrificed for paramount quality. Will you continue demanding immediate outcomes from processes that inherently require profound, meticulous development? Or will you match your profound patience to the undeniable significance of what you are diligently building? The power of silent patience stems from its profound recognition that meaningful creation follows natural rhythms that cannot always be artificially accelerated. Just as a diligent farmer cannot rush the growth of his crops by frantically pulling on the shoots, some monumental achievements cannot be hurried beyond their natural organic development. This patient perspective is not resignation to sluggish progress. It is profound respect for the necessary seasons of growth. The most patient individuals are not idle. They are actively, diligently building with a profound understanding of which elements can be accelerated and which absolutely require time to mature properly. Your unwavering ability to work steadily without the constant emotional reward of immediate results may at times feel unsatisfying compared to the quick dopamine hits of visible progress, but it allows you to build what others in their impatience cannot. It allows you to construct foundations deep enough to support lasting, profound impact rather than temporary, fleeting attention. While many frantically rush to demonstrate what they already know, the truly successful often ask simple, probing questions or remain profoundly quiet, meticulously absorbing new information, even in fields where they possess immense expertise. Displaying current knowledge, my friends, tragically prevents the acquisition of new understanding. When your paramount priority in conversations becomes ostentatiously showing others how much you know, you inadvertently create two significant barriers to profound learning. First, while you are incessantly talking, you cannot simultaneously listen, thus closing yourself off to invaluable new information. Second, your mind becomes singularly focused on organizing existing knowledge for presentation rather than opening itself to new transformative perspective. This pattern inevitably leads to intellectual stagnation cunningly disguised as expertise. Practice the profound discipline of not sharing your knowledge unless you are specifically asked. Before expressing disagreement, seek to thoroughly understand the other perspective through diligent inquiry. In meetings or classes, courageously challenge yourself to ask at least one genuine question before offering any information. When you possess immense expertise in a particular topic, adopt the phrase, "I'm curious," rather than immediately sharing your own preconceived view. Remember that true learning happens in profound silence, not in incessant speech. Margaret Anderson, a shrewd businesswoman, completely transformed her approach to business using this exact method in 19. Despite her recognized expertise in traditional markets, she noticed younger analysts identifying groundbreaking opportunities she had previously missed. Rather than asserting her superior experience, she began scheduling private meetings with these junior colleagues. In these sessions, she asked probing questions and listened without interruption, meticulously taking detailed notes despite her senior position. When one surprised analyst asked why she didn't offer more of her own insights, she profoundly explained, "I already know everything I know. My future success depends on what I don't yet know, which I can only discover through silence." This humble yet powerful approach led her to identify emerging markets years before her competitors, extending her career success for decades beyond her peers who remained tragically locked in past expertise. Where in your life, my friends, do you find yourself speaking as an expert when you could be listening as a profound student? How might your invaluable knowledge expand if you approached familiar topics with genuine curiosity rather than ready automatic answers? Notice how the social reward of appearing knowledgeable often feels more compelling than the private, often uncomfortable process of becoming more knowledgeable. Most individuals use conversation to merely display what they have learned. The truly successful, however, use it to profoundly expand what they can learn. Will you continue prioritizing the fleeting appearance of knowing, or will you embrace the silent vulnerability that leads to actual profound growth? The paradox of the silent student, my friends, is that it demands far greater confidence to ask simple, profound questions than to give complex, impressive answers. Displaying current knowledge provides immediate status and validation. while embracing the learner's mindset requires temporarily setting aside your profound need for others' recognition of your expertise. Yet this silent approach to learning does not in any way diminish your actual value. It continuously, exponentially increases it. And the most respected minds in any field are not those who know the most at any given moment. They are those who continue growing relentlessly when others have long since stopped. Your unwavering willingness to set aside the social comfort of being seen as knowledgeable creates the sacred space where genuine wisdom can truly develop. In the long run, the profound question that expands your understanding always serves you far better than the impressive answer that merely validates what you already know. Celebrating in private the wisdom of silent victory. Observe, my friends, how profoundly differently people handle their achievements. Many individuals immediately broadcast each success, seeking maximum recognition and applause. But notice how the most consistently successful often acknowledge their wins with surprising restraint, sometimes even saying nothing at all about significant accomplishments. Excessive celebration, my friends, creates vulnerability to future disappointment. When you develop the insidious habit of seeking external validation for every single achievement, you inadvertently create three detrimental problems. First, you become utterly dependent on others' recognition for your own sense of accomplishment. Second, you establish an unsustainable pattern where each success must be larger than the last to generate the same fleeting emotional reward. Third, and most perilously, you signal to your competitors precisely where you are succeeding, inviting targeted responses before your position is truly secure. The most sustainable success, my friends, often develops in protective, profound quiet. Practice silent victory by diligently developing private celebration rituals that do not depend on others' acknowledgement. For significant achievements, take personal, dedicated time to acknowledge your progress before announcing it publicly. When tempted to immediately broadcast accomplishments, ask yourself, will sharing this now increase or decrease its long-term impact? Be more vocal about team successes than personal ones. Remember that celebration is for completion, not for validation. The achievement itself, my friends, is the profound reward, not others' recognition of it. While his competitors held elaborate events for even minor development milestones, Richardson's team worked in remarkable privacy. When they finally achieved the breakthrough that had eluded the entire industry for years, team members were surprised by his profound response. Instead of the expected grandiose press announcement, he simply took them to dinner, acknowledging their achievement privately while continuing to diligently work on implementation. His unsuspecting competitors, unaware of the breakthrough, did not develop counter-strategies during the critical market entry period. When asked years later about this unusual restraint, Richardson profoundly explained, "Premature celebration serves the ego but endangers the work." The greatest competitive advantage is often the victory no one knows you've achieved until its results become impossible to ignore. Where might your desire for recognition, my friends, be creating unnecessary vulnerability in your invaluable work or life? How could strategic silence around certain accomplishments actually increase their ultimate profound impact? Notice how immediate validation often feels essential, but actually creates dependence on external responses you cannot control. Most individuals celebrate to be seen succeeding. The truly successful, however, focus on extending success beyond the current achievement. Will you continue seeking maximum visibility for every victory? Or will you discover the profound power of accomplishments that remain private until their undeniable results speak for themselves? The wisdom of silent victory, my friends, comes from profoundly understanding the difference between achievement and mere announcement. Private accomplishment allows you to build momentum without drawing attention that might inadvertently create obstacles. This restraint is not about denying yourself profound satisfaction. It is about finding that profound satisfaction in the achievement itself rather than in others' acknowledgement of it. The most consistently successful individuals are not those who celebrate most visibly. They are those who translate each victory immediately into profound progress toward the next, even greater goal. Your unwavering ability to find fulfillment in private accomplishment rather than in public recognition demonstrates a profound confidence that ultimately creates more sustained success than any amount of external validation could ever provide. Let your undeniable results eventually speak louder than any announcement could ever possibly hope to. They will tell a far more compelling, far more profound story about your inherent value than your own words ever could. Creating without feedback, the sanctuary of originality. Observe, my friends, the profound difference between those who share their creative work immediately, relentlessly seeking feedback at every single step, and those who meticulously develop their ideas in extended privacy, revealing them to others only when the vision has substantially, profoundly formed. This pattern, I assure you, reveals much about the very essence of original thinking. Premature feedback, my friends, often diminishes creative breakthroughs. When you expose early-stage ideas to evaluation, three detrimental problems typically emerge. First, unique concepts, by their very nature, face inherent resistance because they do not easily fit established patterns. Without sufficient development, they are easily dismissed before ever truly proving their undeniable value. Second, early feedback often focuses on superficial flaws rather than on core potential, thereby distracting you from the most important foundational development work. Third, and most significantly, external input during formation stages subtly, yet powerfully, steers you towards conventional thinking, precisely when unconventional approaches offer the greatest opportunity for profound breakthrough. Nurture silent creativity by meticulously establishing judgment-free zones for your early development process. Practice capturing ideas without immediately evaluating them. Develop the profound discipline of exploring concepts thoroughly before ever seeking any external feed. Create private space and dedicated time solely for development without interruption. When you must discuss early ideas, select only those rare, insightful individuals who can respond to potential rather than merely policing adherence to established norms. Remember that creativity profoundly requires protection from premature judgment, including most crucially your own. Where in your creative process, my friends, might you be seeking feedback far too early, before your profound ideas have fully formed? How might your most original thinking profoundly benefit from extended protection from external judgment? Notice how the emotional comfort of validation often feels necessary, but actually pulls you towards conventional thinking, precisely when true originality demands temporary discomfort. Most individuals create with constant external reference points. The truly successful, however, trust their own profound vision enough to develop it in privacy. Will you continue seeking immediate feedback for fragile ideas, or will you with unwavering conviction give your creativity the silent space it so desperately needs to become truly extraordinary? The power of silent creativity stems from profoundly understanding that original thought must temporarily detach from conventional wisdom to reach its full magnificent potential. This detachment is not permanent. Feedback becomes invaluable once your profound vision has developed sufficient clarity and strength to withstand engagement without fundamental distortion. The most innovative creators are not those who ignore outside perspective entirely. They are those who carefully control when and how that perspective enters their creative process. Your unwavering willingness to develop ideas in extended privacy, tolerating the inherent uncertainty of working without constant validation, may at times feel isolating compared to the immediate reassurance of feedback. Yet this profound silence creates the essential conditions where your most valuable, most transformative contributions can truly emerge. Work that does not merely extend existing conventions, but profoundly transforms them into something previously unimagined. It is time, my friends, to unlock the silent power that the most influential people in history have painstakingly mastered. Embrace the profound strength of silence not as the mere absence of speech, but as the undeniable presence of control. Let your profound silence speak louder than any words, commanding unwavering respect and undeniable authority in every single interaction. Make your presence felt without uttering a single sound. Take this immense power with you into every room, every negotiation, and every pivotal decision. Master it, my friends, and watch before your very eyes as the world molds itself to your silent, undeniable My friends, what if I told you that the most powerful tool for your undeniable success isn't something you loudly proclaim, but something far more subtle, far more profound? What if the key to unlocking your greatest potential, to commanding respect, and to influencing every room you enter lies not in speaking more, but in mastering the unspoken? I speak, my friends, of silence. Not the absence of sound, but the deliberate, strategic cultivation of an inner stillness that grants you an almost supernatural edge. This, I assure you, is the secret weapon wielded by the most influential leaders and visionaries throughout the grand tapestry of human history. Why? Because true power, the kind that moves mountains and inspires millions, is felt, not merely heard. When you learn to master silence, you don't just speak, you command. You don't just exist, you resonate. You create an aura of authority that demands not only attention but profound, unyielding respect. In the moments that follow, I shall unveil the profound principles of mastering silence, demonstrating how this seemingly subtle force can transform your influence, your control, and your command over any situation you face. Are you ready to discover the unspoken edge that will set you apart? The profound power of silent reflection, the architect of insight. Have you ever noticed, my friends, how the most successful individuals, those who leave an indelible mark upon the world, often appear to be the calmest amidst the storm? While others rush headlong into the cacophony of noise and chaos, they consciously choose to step back, to find moments of profound quiet and to simply think. This, I assure you, is no mere accident. It is their profound secret weapon. Silence, my friends, is the sacred chamber where your mind is given the essential space it needs to truly work its magic. When you are perpetually talking, incessantly busy, endlessly surrounded by the relentless drone of noise, your most brilliant ideas, your deepest insights remain tragically hidden, buried beneath the surface of superficiality. But in those precious quiet moments, your mind performs a miraculous feat. It connects disparate dots you never before perceived. The solution to that perplexing problem that has plagued you for weeks, that elusive breakthrough, suddenly emerges with startling clarity, all because you granted your mind the sacred gift of quiet time. Consider, if you will, the pivotal moment in 1962 when Senator Marcus Townsend faced a truly formidable challenge. His election campaign was faltering, the polls steadily falling against him. Instead of succumbing to the immediate pressure for more speeches, more public appearances, he chose a path few would dare. He retreated, my friends, to his secluded cabin for an entire weekend of profound solitude. Many believed he had simply given up, that he was conceding defeat. But in that profound silence, Senator Townsend found the crystal-clear clarity he desperately needed regarding what the voters truly desired, what truly resonated deep within their hearts. When he emerged from that sanctuary of quiet, his message had undergone a complete metamorphosis. It was not, as some might have expected, flashier or more aggressive. No, it was profoundly more authentic. People felt the undeniable difference, and his campaign, against all odds, took a dramatic, unprecedented turn. Later, he profoundly declared, "Those 2 quiet days changed everything." Are you, my friends, consistently granting your mind the profound quiet it so desperately needs to truly work its wonders for you? What seemingly intractable problems might miraculously resolve themselves if you simply afforded them the space of silence? What brilliant, groundbreaking ideas might be patiently waiting to reveal themselves to you in those precious quiet moments? Remember this immutable truth: noise keeps you perpetually reactive. But silence, my friends, makes you powerfully creative. Most individuals, sadly, flee from silence, for it can feel profoundly uncomfortable at first. But understand this. This discomfort is merely your magnificent mind adjusting to a newfound, unparalleled power. Will you, my friends, possess the courage, the unwavering conviction to be truly quiet when the entire world around you is consumed by incessant noise, learning from all the silent art of observation? My friends, understand this profound truth. The wisest individual in any room is often not the one whose voice dominates, but the one who practices the quiet, powerful art of watching and truly listening. Look closely at the truly successful individuals in any field. They do not pontificate. They ask probing questions. They do not merely speak. They meticulously observe. They learn profoundly from everyone around them before rendering their critical decisions. Why does this silent observation prove so extraordinarily effective? Because invaluable information, powerful insights, and hidden truths are omnipresent if only you are quiet enough, receptive enough to truly notice them. Every single person you encounter, every unique individual, carries within them invaluable lessons forged from their profound experiences. Every situation you witness contains undeniable clues about what unequivocally works and what tragically fails. When you are incessantly busy talking or perpetually consumed with what you intend to utter next, you tragically miss these priceless lessons, these profound insights that are unfolding right before your very eyes. You possess the innate capacity, my friends, to master this transformative skill through diligent practice. The next time you find yourself in a meeting, consciously challenge yourself to speak precisely half as much as you typically do. Instead, direct your unwavering focus towards meticulously observing how others communicate. What inherent qualities make some individuals profoundly persuasive? What subtle actions cause others to be summarily ignored? In social settings, keenly observe who effortlessly draws people inward and who, conversely, subtly pushes them away. Do not merely hear the words, see the expressions. Notice the profound timing. Feel the subtle shifts in the very energy of the room. These profound observations, my friends, become your own private, unparalleled education. Eleanor Whitfield, a titan of industry, meticulously built a small, unassuming shop into a colossal retail empire by employing this very approach. Unlike her competitors who ceaselessly talked over their customers, dictating what they should desire, she quietly observed. She watched with keen interest how people effortlessly moved through her stores. She noticed precisely where they paused, what objects they instinctively touched, what subtle cues caused them to return items to the shelves. She rarely, if ever, spoke in strategy meetings, but when she finally did, her insights were so profoundly accurate, so undeniably perceptive, that others wondered how she possessed such uncanny knowledge. "I just pay attention," she would simply profoundly. Her silent, meticulous observations led to revolutionary store layouts that, against all odds, doubled sales, even as her perpetually talkative competitors spiraled into bankruptcy. When was the last time, my friends, you acquired something truly valuable simply by the profound act of watching? Could your next groundbreaking breakthrough emerge not from a meticulously studied book or a costly course, but from simply paying closer, more disciplined attention to what is already effortlessly unfolding around you? The next time you feel that insidious pressure to speak up, to aggressively prove your inherent worth, remember this profound truth: the real undeniable power might reside not in your vocal assertions, but in your courageous decision to remain silent, to observe and to absorb what others in their incessant chatter tragically miss. Will you choose to be merely the loudest voice or the most profoundly insightful mind? Mastering emotional control, the unshakable calm, the undeniable mark of true power, my friends, is not how intensely you react, but how profoundly, how calmly you choose to observe, if you will, how the most respected leaders, those whose presence commands unwavering reverence, instinctively pause before uttering a single word when tensions rise to a fever pitch. That silence, my friends, is not, as some might mistakenly perceive, a weakness. No, it is their greatest, most formidable strength. Emotional reactions born of impulse happen in an instant, and all too frequently, they lead to profound, enduring regret. When someone dares to criticize your cherished idea, when they question your innate ability, or when they brazenly challenge your inherent authority, your initial visceral reaction invariably springs from raw emotion, not from profound wisdom. This quick, unthinking response might perhaps offer a fleeting moment of self-satisfaction, but it possesses the devastating potential to irrevocably damage relationships and irrevocably tarnish reputations for countless years to come. The silence, my friends, the sacred space between the emotional trigger and your deliberate response, is where your true, unadulterated power unequivocally resides. Developing this transformative skill begins with the profound act of recognizing your emotional triggers. Pay meticulous attention to the physical manifestations: a rapid heartbeat, muscles that instinctively tense, a sudden flush of heat. These, my friends, are powerful warnings. When you perceive them, take a deliberate, conscious pause. Breathe deeply, profoundly. Count silently to 5 if necessary. Then ask yourself this pivotal question: what profound result do I genuinely desire from this challenging situation? Allow that answer, and not your fleeting emotion, to meticulously guide your subsequent response. Practice this profound pause in small, everyday situations. so that it becomes an ingrained natural reflex in those truly critical moments. When was the last time, my friends, that anger or debilitating frustration compelled you to utter words you later, in a moment of agonizing clarity, desperately wished you could retract? What profound transformations might occur in your life if you consciously owned the sacred space between events in your carefully considered response to them? Remember, my friends, that anyone can succumb to an emotional reaction, but it demands true, formidable strength to respond with purposeful, profound silence. The next time tension inevitably rises, will you demonstrate your profound power through immediate, reactive words, or through the deliberate, unyielding silence that unmistakably signals that you are utterly unprovoked? Cultivating ideas in silence, the genesis of breakthrough. My friends, grasp this profound truth. The most powerful, most transformative ideas, like the deepest roots of a mighty oak, often grow best, most robustly, in the profound sanctuary of silence. Look at any truly remarkable achievement, any monumental breakthrough, and you will invariably find that the vast majority of the painstaking work occurred quietly, unseen, long before the world ever caught a whisper of its existence. Far too many groundbreaking ideas, sadly, meet their premature demise from early, ill-timed exposure. When you prematurely share your cherished goals, several detrimental outcomes inevitably unfold. First, insidious critics, with their corrosive negativity, attack your nascent idea while it is still fragile, still forming, easily crushed by their unfounded skepticism. Second, others, less scrupulous, may cunningly steal your brilliant vision before you have had the invaluable opportunity to fully develop it, to bring it to its true fruition. And third, and most strangely, the very act of talking incessantly about your meticulously laid plans actually, paradoxically, reduces your profound motivation to painstakingly complete them. Your brain, in its intricate workings, receives a small, fleeting reward from the act of sharing, cunningly making you less inclined to undertake the arduous, necessary hard work of bringing your vision to life. The most profoundly successful individuals understand this insidious trap with absolute clarity, and they choose instead to work in the profound sanctuary of silence until their magnificent results can speak with undeniable authority for themselves. Apply this strategic silence by meticulously dividing your grand goals into distinct, manageable stages. In the foundational stage, share your meticulously laid plans only with those individuals who are directly and unequivocally involved in helping you to bring them to fruition. Build irrefutable proof that your groundbreaking idea demonstrably works before you even consider announcing it widely to the world. Document your painstaking progress privately, meticulously, away from prying eyes. Create something tangible, something small that powerfully demonstrates your core concept. Only after you possess something concrete, not merely a fleeting idea but a working, demonstrable start, should you even consider widening your circle of confidants. Allow the natural, profound curiosity about what you are meticulously building to accumulate organically, drawing others in by its sheer magnetic force. Consider the extraordinary case of Margaret Finley, who for 2 years painstakingly developed her revolutionary retail system while diligently working her regular demanding job. When her curious colleagues inquired about her evenings, she simply enigmatically stated that she was working on a home project. Even her closest family members received only vague, generalized answers, while her outspoken competitors loudly announced similar ideas, only to face devastating public failure. She meticulously refined her system in the profound sanctuary of silence. By the time she finally unveiled her groundbreaking company, it was not merely an ethereal idea. She had already secured 3 paying clients and possessed undeniable proven results. When pressed on why she maintained such profound quiet for so long, she profoundly stated, "Seeds don't grow well when constantly dug up to check their progress." What cherished dream are you meticulously carrying, my friends, that might profoundly benefit from less incessant talking and more quiet, deliberate action? Have you perhaps experienced the strange, unsettling phenomenon of feeling strangely less motivated after loudly proclaiming your plans to the world? Consider this undeniable truth. The energy you expend talking incessantly about what you will do is precisely the energy that is tragically not being spent on actually doing it. The next time you feel that powerful, almost irresistible urge to announce your grandiose plans, pause and ask yourself this crucial question: would this nascent idea perhaps grow far stronger, far more robust, in the profound sanctuary of silence for a little while longer? Would you perhaps work with even greater tenacity, even greater determination, if the only voice cheering you on was your own intuition as your guide, the inner whisper of wisdom? My friends, there is a quiet, profound feeling, an almost imperceptible nudge that gently guides you toward or away from certain crucial decisions. This, I assure you, is your intuition, and truly successful individuals do not for a moment ignore it. They listen profoundly, carefully, with every fiber of their being. This inner voice, your profound inner wisdom, speaks not in clamorous shouts, but in subtle, resonant whisper, and it can only be heard, truly heard, in those sacred moments of profound silence. In our perpetually noisy world, a world inundated with a cacophony of constant opinions and an endless deluge of unsolicited advice, we have sadly lost touch with our own invaluable inner wisdom. Yet scientific research unequivocally demonstrates that our magnificent brains process far more information than we consciously realize. That gut feeling, that sudden flash of insight, is not merely raw emotion. No, it is your profound mind seamlessly connecting countless dots, processing vast amounts of information beneath the very surface of your conscious awareness. When you tragically ignore this quiet, profound guidance, you invariably find yourself uttering those familiar, agonizing words: "I knew I should." The most successful decisions, the truly transformative ones, emerge precisely when external knowledge, painstakingly acquired, and inner wisdom, profoundly nurtured, seamlessly coalesce and work in perfect harmony. Reconnecting with your innate intuition demands the conscious creation of spaces of profound silence. When confronted with truly important decisions, embark upon a solitary walk, utterly devoid of distraction. Before entering crucial meetings, consciously choose to sit quietly for 5 minutes, rather than frantically attempting to cram in even more last-minute preparation. When meticulously considering a myriad of options, ask yourself profoundly, what feels right, before you even begin to ask what makes mere logical sense. Keenly notice the subtle yet profound difference between the paralyzing grip of fear and the wise, intuitive caution that seeks to guide you. Taquil Yamada, a financial wizard, built his formidable reputation on seemingly impossible market predictions. He sold all his holdings meticulously just weeks before a catastrophic market crash. His bewildered competitors, analyzing the exact same data, reached diametrically opposite conclusions. When tenacious financial reporters pressed him for his intricate analysis method, he utterly confused them by eloquently describing his daily 3-hour garden walk. In noise, he profoundly explained, "I can only hear what others are saying. In silence, I can hear what the situation is saying." His profound insight, born of silence, enabled his company to miraculously survive 3 devastating market collapses that utterly decimated countless others. His unusual yet profoundly effective practice of silent reflection before monumental decisions became the stuff of legend. When was the last time, my friends, you experienced that quiet, undeniable knowing, that profound inner certainty that later proved absolutely correct, even when all the facts and figures vehemently suggested otherwise? What critical decisions are you currently facing that might profoundly benefit from less frantic research and more quiet, profound reflection? Remember this immutable truth: this inner voice, your invaluable intuition, cannot compete with the incessant clamor of noise. It waits patiently, profoundly, in the sacred sanctuary of silence. Will you, my friends, possess the unwavering courage to create the quiet space it so desperately needs to be profoundly heard? Speaking less to be heard more, the power of selective silence. Have you ever noticed, my friends, the almost magnetic pull that draws people to strain and listen intently when someone speaks softly, deliberately? Conversely, the individual who talks incessantly, who constantly fills every conversational void with words, inevitably gets tuned out, their voice dissolving into the background noise. But when the quiet person, the one who has patiently observed, finally chooses to speak, everyone instinctively leans in, eager to absorb every single word. This, my friends, is no mere coincidence. It is the profound, undeniable power of selective silence. Speaking less with conscious intent irrevocably elevates the inherent value of your words. Most individuals, sadly, feel an almost crippling discomfort with silence, and they frantically rush to fill every single conversational gap with a torrent of words. They ceaselessly repeat themselves. They inadvertently weaken their powerful points with an excessive deluge of examples, and they tragically dilute truly important messages with a flood of unnecessary detail. When you speak incessantly, my friends, people hear only noise, a cacophony of meaningless sounds. But when you speak only when it is absolutely necessary, with profound purpose and surgical precision, your words, I assure you, carry undeniable weight. Silence, my friends, creates profound value for your meticulously crafted thoughts. To cultivate this silent confidence, begin by consciously counting your words in conversations. Challenge yourself to express the exact same idea using fewer, more impactful sentences. Before you even open your mouth to speak, ask yourself these crucial questions. Does this truly need to be said? Does it unequivocally need to be said by me? Does it absolutely need to be said right now? Practice being utterly comfortable in the profound silence during conversation. Resolutely resist the urge to frantically jump in and fill every pause. When a question is posed to you, take a deliberate, thoughtful moment before responding. Remember this immutable truth: quality thinking inevitably produces quality speaking. Thomas Blackwell, a visionary leader, miraculously transformed his struggling company. During his very first board meeting, his fellow directors were utterly shocked when he sat in profound silence through 2 grueling hours of discussion concerning rapidly declining profit. When finally he was asked for his opinion, he spoke just 3 sentences that, with surgical precision, completely reframed their entire problem. Later, when asked why he waited so long to speak, he profoundly explained, "I needed to comprehensively understand the full picture before even considering offering a solution." Speaking sooner would have simply added to the confusion. Within mere months, his burgeoning reputation for thoughtful, profound silence ensured that his rare, impactful statements became ingrained company policy. Almost immediately, his peers, who had previously dominated every meeting with their incessant chatter, discovered that their opinions, once so influential, now carried significantly less weight. Are you, my friends, inadvertently weakening your profound influence by speaking far too often? What transformative impact might occur if you consciously halved your words, but profoundly doubled your dedicated thinking time? Remember, my friends, that silence unmistakably demonstrates an unshakable confidence in your idea. They do not require constant frantic defending or exhaustive explanations. Most individuals speak to merely feel important or to release nervous, restless energy. But what if your profound silence, not your incessant speech, is what will ultimately compel others to truly value your invaluable contribution? The next time you feel that irresistible pressure to immediately speak up, will you possess the profound confidence to remain silent until you have something truly profoundly worth uttering?